In order to revitalize the Chicago Public Schools, I think the work that we've done over the last 25 years has told me that one of the things that's lacking is having students authentically involved in the decision making to help make their schools better. I'm a fan of self-determination theory, and it tells us that everyone, and that's all ages of people, need to feel that they are in relationship with others, competent, and also have autonomy. What happens as I work almost on a daily basis in the Chicago Public Schools is I see that the young people are controlled. They're told every minute of the day what they have to do, and they react against it because we all need to feel autonomous. And so then we get misbehavior because they react against control. On the other hand, if we could channel that energy and that need for feeling autonomous, so that students would feel like they have say in the way the school runs, that they would actually help make decisions, including the rules that, of course, you're going to have rules that you have to have, and the teachers and the administration would demand it, as would the district. But some of the rules are things that they could decide on. And this is not something new. As a principal of an alternative school 25 years ago, actually more like starting about 35 years ago, we did this, and it worked very effectively. So I worked as a teacher and then principal of an alternative school serving students who had left the public schools. And we found that we could get total buy-in and total ownership, and even students leaving their gang affiliation at the door by involving them in the day-to-day operation. So when rules were broken, students and teachers would meet with the student and ask them what they were going to do to repair the damage that they had done. So that was going on 35 years ago, and that worked. There's no reason why some of those ideas can't be now incorporated into the public schools. Those are students that came back from dropping out and then were able to graduate from high school. And we've done some experiments in Chicago Public Schools where we help students think about the behaviors that they're involved with and what they have control over using an approach called motivational interviewing and also experiential education, where we actually help them feel like they're part of the community. So we do adventure-based experiential education. And in those programs, we managed to see that students really can change the direction of their behavior and their lives in the schools we work in. So I think there are some tools that teachers and administrators can use, counselors can use, and even parents that are involved. So we're involved in training people and doing some of that. And so I think there are solutions right in the middle of the schools. Now, the other reality is that social conditions and funding for schools is a big issue. If you don't have adequate resources, it's hard to do a lot of things. And we have schools that have, suburban schools that have big budgets, and then we have city schools with extremely small budgets. That's something that really is not fair and needs to be changed. A citizen of the state of Illinois is a citizen of the state of Illinois. And just because you were born and your home is in a neighborhood that has people with wealth does not give you any more rights as a human being as a person who's born in a poor neighborhood. And so I think the state of Illinois should honor its constitution and provide an education, an equal education for all. The last thing we want to do is give up and say that our public schools, there's no hope in the public schools. And that's not the case. Having students then think that there are other opportunities in charters who actually can be even more controlling than actually public schools is not the solution. Autonomy support has been shown by research from the 60s and all the way up to the present is how you get people intrinsically motivated to learn. And so some of the charter schools just pound in more control, and they are worse as far as retaining students than actually the Chicago Public Schools. So just advocating for charters is not a solution. Now, charters sometimes are able to get community involvement and corporate involvement, and I would say, why don't those corporations, and let's involve the communities more, because everyone wants what's best for their community, everyone wants what's best for themselves. We just have to trust the process, and if we do, we'll be hopeful. So I would just advocate for trusting people, trusting students. They will choose what's best for themselves and what's best for their schools and what's best for the community if they're given authentic roles and power to decide.